our channel.
Please subscribe. Thank you.
Hello.
Hello. We watched all of season 3 Stranger Things.
Natapos namin sa wakas.
So if you haven't watched it yet, spoiler alert.
Yeah.
We'll throw in some spoilers in there for Stranger Things season 3. So if you haven't watched it yet, make sure you watch it because it's a good season and you're gonna be hooked. This one like draws you in. It really draws you in.
Yeah, nahook ako even the Stranger Things nung one. Buntis pa lang ako kay Zane.
Yeah, Stranger Things. So there was the first season and the second season, and then now the third season. They're all like older now. Everybody's older.
Dumating ako dito, ang hiling niya manood nung show na yon. Then na-curious ako, so pati ako napanood na rin. Before ayoko ng mga ganun nakakatakot, parang sci-fi. Pero this one is so interesting. There's something in that show na talagang mapapanood kay. Lalo na yung may mga bata na nakakatuwa silang panoorin.
Yeah, like this one on Netflix. I think it drew a lot of people in because they used child actors, and the children were like the heroes, and you don't see a lot of that, especially in the series like this. You know, the TV shows where it's the kids who are solving the mystery, and the kids are the ones who are never heard. Like the adults in most shows, they don't listen to the kids. They don't like to hear the kids out or anything. Yeah,
so parang yun yung message dun sa show na yun na yung mga idea ng mga bata, importante talaga na pakinggan sila.
You shouldn't ignore the kids because they have things to say. So you should listen to them too, not just thinking like, don't just brush them off like,
even if
they're just
the
kids.
Small things or simple things, kailangan talagang pakinggan sila. Importante talaga yung mga salita ng mga bata.
Yeah, so in this season, they center around a mall. You see the Russians are involved with this thing. Like in the season 2, they closed off the little portal. Like 11 closed it off. She sealed it off. But in this season, it's like for some reason the Russians are trying to reopen it.
There are some people talaga na they want to discover on their own. Like
I think
the
Russians
want to explore some more.
I think the reason why the Russians were working on this one is because they wanted to beat the U.S. If you look at the history of where it is in here, like this is the 1980s. In the 1980s, there was the Cold War. There's still the Cold War going on between the U.S. and Russia, where they're trying to have an arms race. They had the whole Ronald Reagan with the Star Wars thing,
I like that.
So it's like the Russians here are trying to beat the U.S. because the U.S. was doing the same experiment in Hawkins, and then the Russians realized it's the location that matters for the portal, so that's why they were in Hawkins. Somehow the Russians ended up in Hawkins at this mall, at this location where they're doing their experiment. I
like it. They added the kind of creatures.
So this creature, actually, the Mind Flayer that they're talking about here in this one is the same one as in the last season. So the last season he was in the Upside Down, and they brought Will in again back to the Upside Down in season 2, and you saw the piece of the Mind Flayer took Will as a host. Yeah. Remember that? And he came back out of the Upside Down, but he was in there. This time the Mind Flayer took a body in the real world, and what he did was he used the rats. Remember, he used the rats, and then he also used Billy.
Billy. Gross, yeah.
So he was using the bodies of different people of the town, and it would like melt. It would like melt, and then turn into the big body of the Mind Flayer.
Like big monster.
The big monster, yeah. Who knows what it is? It's from the Upside Down though.
It looks like spider.
And it's got it got like a bunch of things coming out, and it like sucks on your face,
legs. And I don't know how many legs, but it looks like a spider.
So it was in the season 2. It was just a shadow, like a giant shadow. But in this one, it actually took a body in season 3. So basically,
a lot of people.
Yeah, so basically, this is like a continuation, and this time 11 tried to do stuff and heal it and like close it off and all this stuff, but it's just a spoiler for you guys. So I mean, there's a bunch of spoilers already, but this one at the end, you see 11 kind of loses her powers. She like tries to.
She got bit.
So yeah, she got bit by the Mind
monster.
Flayer, right? And then like her leg was like it had
Wounded.
the wound was like coming to life. It was the Mind Flayer inside her leg, and she used her powers to get it out. But after she did that, she like kind of lost her powers,
Yeah, she's
and
trying
she couldn't get
to
it back. And
do
then
it.
at the end, there's like a hint she's trying to use it again, but she couldn't. She couldn't
Yeah,
do it.
so I'm wondering what's gonna happen next.
Yeah. So in the next season, what's gonna happen? Is she
I
gonna?
can't wait na ulit. I mean, kailan kaya yung susunod? So, plus yung nagustuhan ko pa sa show na to, yung fashion nila.
Yeah. So
80s and the music.
so they used a lot of 80s pop music.
Yes.
In the back. It wasn't
Love
really
the music.
specific to, like, I mean, they had some specific songs in there, but there were some unlicensed one too that they used too.
Yeah.
But so for this one, the style, you would see at the beginning, like 11 when she breaks up with Mike, she like gets a new style,
And
new
new
fashion.
yeah,
And
like
it's
makeover.
it's Maxine who helps her pick the clothes. So they go to the
I
mall
love it.
and they go on a shopping spree and they like pick out all these fashionable items. Like it's very 80s. You know, the bright colors, the yellows, the blues, the
pinks,
suspenders, the
pinks.
big pants, the big shirts that were like puffy and whatever.
Yeah.
You could see that in what 11 got, in what she chose for her clothing. But then toward the end, she changed her style again. She went more grunge. I don't know where that came from, but she switched over to the grunge style, right? But that's another style you like too, is the grunge.
Yep.
'Cause it's-
That's why nahook din ako sa show na ito. Kasi 80s. And the music, like there's some alternative music, like alternative rock.
Yeah, and then
Pop
some
music.
and then some actual rock. The ballads that a lot of the big
And one
metal
of the
bands.
characters there reminds me of Bon Jovi. Right?
Billy?
Billy.
Ah.
Reminds me of Bon Jovi. Like, ganun talaga yung mga style ng 80s.
He had a mullet, but poor Billy, he's the first
Yeah.
victim of the Mind Flayer, and then he got taken, and then they used him pretty much throughout the series to do the bidding of the Mind Flayer, and poor guy,
Yeah.
ends up
Naawa
sacrificing
ako sa
himself.
kanya. Naawa ako sa kanya eh.
Yeah, he sacrificed himself for the other kids, and he ended up dying. Actually, his story, they actually go pretty in depth on the story about his mom. And the mom
And-
leaving
and
because the
also
dad
the-
was very abusive and
And
things like
also
that.
the police.
You talking about Hopper?
Yeah.
So here's another spoiler. Hopper, you think that he dies, right? But the thing is,
it's
like,
questionable, right?
who knows if he died or not? It looked like, because they had to explode the machine at the end, it looked like he was in the area where all the people would get disintegrated from the machine blowing up. But we don't know what happened to him. Because at
Yeah.
one scene you
He
see
said,
him.
yeah.
One scene you see him there, right? And then the next scene when it pans out,
Exploded.
he's not there anymore. Right before it explodes, he's not next to it. But right before that, he's next to it. And then right after that, he's not next to
Yeah,
it. So we don't know. Maybe he
napaisip
got
kami
out,
eh. Baka merong humila sa kanya.
or
ng
he
mga Russian.
he kind of looks back, like behind
Or
him,
maybe
toward the portal.
He ran away again.
My thinking is he jumped into the portal, so
Yeah.
he's in the upside down, and they
Oh,
probably
yeah.
have to save him from the upside down. That's what I think.
Could be.
Yeah. So I mean.
And I hope maligtas siya sa next
Yeah,
series.
hopefully, he's alive and they
Kasi
can go and get him.
nakakalungkot eh,
Yeah, because he is like one of the main protagonists of this show.
Yeah,
like
and-
ever since. He's the one who like
And they just
adopted 11
and
and Winona Ryder.
Phil.
She and
They just-
Hopper, they like each other, and then they were
just
gonna go on
started
a.
talking about the date.
They were
Like,
finally gonna go
after
on a date
this,
after the whole thing was
commotion,
over.
After that drama.
But it didn't happen because they thought Hopper died, but we don't know if Hopper died. I actually think he's alive.
So yeah, I hope. What do you think, guys?
Yeah,
Do you
let us
have
know. If you've watched it and you've seen it,
What
do you
do
think
you
Hopper's alive? What do you think? Do you think Hopper's
I
alive?
want to hear your side.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's that's pretty much a lot of the stuff that happened in this series. They obviously destroyed the machine and then cut off the Mind Flayer. He wasn't, and then it died, right? And then they said there's a fire at the mall. All
I
the
like
malls
it
shut
when
down.
there's some commotion, like drama, and then si Dustin at saka yung girlfriend niya.
Dustin and the girl. Oh,
kumanta
so,
muna sila.
yeah, that was a
Like-
pretty funny thing. So Dustin, this whole series was talking about how he had a girlfriend from Utah, and he was trying to use his extended ham radio to contact her.
Yeah.
And like
It's
this
so
whole
hard
time,
that time, ano?
he couldn't get
Imagine.
through, and so ended up that they were like, and his friends were like, why don't you just call her on the phone? And he was like, well, her parents won't allow it and all this stuff, so they needed Planck's Constant, because apparently Planck's Constant was the code
The code
to
for
get the keys
Yeah.
to turn off the machine, to blow up the machine. So they were gonna get Planck's Constant, and they didn't know it, so she actually came through, and then they found out that Dustin really does have a girlfriend, and then she was like, you know, before they do it, they need to sing the song, so they sang the Never Ending Story.
Yeah, never-ending story.
The Never Ending Story
That
theme
title.
song, they sang it.
I like that song. No?
So that was from the movie The Never Ending Story. So they sang it, and they ended up, she gave it to them, and they got the keys, and they saved the day. But yeah, you know what I like about this series is they always split up into smaller groups,
Yeah, and then
they always come together, and then
Reunite.
in a bigger group reunite, and then
merong
try to
isa nag-investigate.
put all the pieces together,
Yeah, may
because
isa nag-investigate
yeah.
sa hospital.
yeah, because they're always doing different pieces. Like Hopper and Winona Ryder went to a different place, and then they have like the brother of Will and the sister of Mike. You know, they're a couple, Nancy and I forgot his name, Jonathan or whatever his name is. They went to the hospital to investigate, to do a journal. You know, and then you have Dustin and Steve and the girl Robin. All three of them were at the mall trying to investigate the mall. And so they're all split up, and then they eventually come back together and then try to put all the pieces together. They did that in like every season. The first season they did that, the second season they did that, and now the third season they're doing it. They did that too. That's what I like about it. And then it's like investigating. The kids are investigating.
Imagine mo, no? Yung time na yun, yung 80s, they're safe to bike around, walk
Oh yeah.
around.
So the thing that we noticed is the parents. Like, what happened to the parents? Do they even notice
Yeah,
their kids are gone?
Mapapansin
Yeah,
nyo.
you notice
ano
that-
ginagawa ng mga bata dito? Asan yung parents?
They're
Like,
letting the kids run around all over the town, and
yeah, bigla na lang umaalis, nakabike, ng gano'n.
they're all hanging out at the mall. If you remember Lucas' sister Erica, she's like a little kid, she's 10 years old, but she's hanging out at the mall by herself.
Diba?
I mean, apparently
Yeah,
they let kids do whatever they want back then, and they didn't even care. So yeah, it's a different time nowadays. Different time. Like, you can't even do that anymore. You can't even go outside your house. And then they also kind of dealt with like infidelity or fidelity when Billy
Oh, yeah.
was like, he's like the attractive
Looking.
lifeguard, and then he invited Mike's mom to go and, you know, hook up with him at a Motel 6, and that's the reason why he got like taken by the Mind Flayers, because he was driving over to that Motel 6 to meet
They're
her,
about to do something.
and then it turns out she didn't actually show up. So, you know, she tried to tell Billy, hey, I'm sorry I didn't show up. It's just
Kasi
like
syempre may pamilya siya.
yeah, she's just thinking about her
Na-realize
family, basically. Because it kind of shows that at first, like, she's putting makeup on and all this stuff, like she's gonna go meet him, and then eventually she doesn't, and she told him, she like
Nat-attempt
apologized to
kasi
him.
siya, na-attempt siya na sumama kay Billy.
Yeah.
But then hindi siya natuloy. Good thing, hindi siya natuloy. But poor
Because
Billy,
Billy didn't show up either, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he got taken over by the Mind Flayer.
Yeah, but poor Billy, nauwi siya sa ganun.
Yeah, he has a pretty deep backstory too, and they kind of show it in the thing about how his mom went away because his dad was abusive, and he ended up with his abusive father. But yeah, in the end, they overcame it, and
Nag-move out sila.
Will ended up moving out, and it turns out that that Will's mom adopted 11
11.
because Hopper's gone. So we don't know where Hopper is.
Yeah, so long wait na naman to. Pero
Yeah,
I'm
and
looking forward to the next series.
Season 4,
The next season.
hopefully it's gonna be good.
Yeah, like
Let us
this.
know your thoughts too. Comment below. Let us know what you think about it.
But for me, I like the story, I like the fashion, I like the music. Because it's 80s. Well, ang panahon namin is 90s, but panahon na rin ng parents natin yung 80s.
Oh yeah. The 80s was a
So,
big time too.
Nakaka-relate din kami.
So yeah, don't forget to subscribe to our channel as well. Hit the subscribe button.
Yeah, thank you for watching.
Thanks for watching.